All right, don't copy that floppy. Luis, you're tripping me out with your little Zoom feature, dude. You're like all blurred out and stuff.
Hey, Discord, it's in beta, man. Blurred
Hey,
background.
OBS is a beta apparently too. We're on another episode of Salient Points, number 45. This one's for November 9th, 2021. I am your commander of ceremonies. Is that right, Dalan? Did I get it correct? Carlos
You're just gonna
Macias.
keep guessing.
We're at wegotcoms.com. That's a plane on our end. A plane on our end. If you hear a plane, it's not gonna crash into you. But anyways, go to wegotcoms.com for everything and everything. Right? That's how people say it. Like, subscribe, all etc. This is Salient Points 45, like I said, for November 9th, 2021. And as per usual, or as sometimes per usual, he has like a 85% hit rate. Dalan Kirkwood from up in the mountains. Thank you for joining us this week.
First off, your percentage is way off. Second off, do you have kamikaze pilots in your area?
No, man, they're all right, but they are on my end, though. They are on my end. They're doing all right. I live sort of like by a airport, kind of close by.
Yeah, sort of by an airport.
Yeah, and I was reading something. So it's the Ontario airport, and I guess they were celebrating 5 years of their independence from LAX or something. It's like, what is this? You guys were being held hostage? You had to declare your independence over here from LAX? But anyways, Dalan Kirkwood, 85% hit rate. Thank you for joining us this week, sir.
Thank you for that bad percentage.
I mean, I think it's pretty good. I mean, we 45 episodes. You've missed like 5 or 6 episodes. That's about in the 80 range.
I missed maybe 2.
Maybe 2, or definitely 2+. Anyways, Dalan, for this week, thank you for joining us. And also, we got on the Wheels of Steel, Luis Mendez. Thank you for joining us, sir.
Of course. Thank you for having my blurred background.
As per usual, yeah, that's interesting.
I like the fact that this blurred background is like trying to break other things into the image. Like I see stuff around Luis that's just slightly trying to fade.
Dude, we're all slaves to the algo, dude. We're all slaves to the algo. That's how it works. But look, this week there wasn't too much things popping. Nintendo was sort of in the news this week. They definitely are touting their big success. Dalan, what is going on right now? There's a lot of stuff happening right now. You gave people a full moon recently, Dalan, in a recent episode. So please, let's avoid that this week, man. Please do not do that.
No full moon. I understand that the crescent moon was there. All right.
Wow. Did you go back and witness this? It was not right. It was not. Oh, it's there.
I thought you guys were gonna cut it out.
I'm not cutting nothing, dude. The video is the video. But look, so this past week, Nintendo, they were kind of talking about their sales. You know, they were kind of they're talking about the interesting thing about it was that Switch is in the middle of its life, and the nice little quote that came around from it is that they said, quote, we're working on integrated hardware software next gaming system. That's their next thing. It will arrive before 2099. I don't know if you have your math calculator there, Dalan, or your calendar situation sorted out, but 2099 is like about 60, 70, 80 years from now, man.
Hey, man, I thought it was like 2 years plus according to your math.
And Nintendo's like, it'll be out before then. It'll be out there before then. They also did say that the online will, quote, improve and expand, unquote. They're having a $900 million dev expansion, man. Dude, way to stunt on some people. They're working on their own development. They're working on more games, but they're also not dismissing acquisitions, which, as we know, Sony and Microsoft have just been buying up all these development studios. They did sell 8.3 million Switches, and this is from their last quarterly report or earnings, which is pretty close to the Xbox numbers, which Xbox sold 8 million. They have shipped 93 million total, but they are cutting their sales target due to semiconductor shortage, which we talked about before, the chips shortage, and they will produce 20% less Switches coming up. What are you guys' thoughts on this? Dalan, how are you feeling about the next Switch coming before 2099? The next Switch, next generation hardware.
Hey man, it's just 2+ years from now. I'm fine with it. But I'm thinking that with them not actually needing to focus on making their next system right away, like every other developer does, I'm thinking they should they really just need to focus on their actual software and games that they actually release on it, because people are going to want more Switches if more good games show up on that system, like games that people actually want to play. I'm pretty sure Breath of the Wild was a huge selling point for them when the Switch first came out. And now they tried to make Dread their selling point for their new
For
They're
this holiday
swole-led.
season, right? With the swollen, yeah, yeah,
Trying to make it for the swole-led,
yeah,
but I don't feel it for the swole-led. I'm
Mhm.
just like, I still got Dread on my original Switch. I'm good.
yeah.
It's like, hey man, make a slightly larger dock for your new swole-led, the slightly larger Switch,
Mm.
and maybe I'll get some dock sales.
Well, and I think we talked about it before, right? But Nintendo kind of doesn't do like, well, they can't really on the hardware side. It is a mobile chip that they're using, right? They can't do like super amazing 4K graphics, not even on the SWOLED. I know you're upset, Dalen, that OLED can only be 4K, but the SWOLED makes things look really nice and crispy. But it is like they're playing their own game, and I hope we could see. They did say $900 million in dev expansion, right? So they're working. I hope they're original titles, man. And I do like the stuff. I don't know if you guys were following the Super Smash Brothers stuff that came out recently, but the developer, the main guy on that, is like, I don't know if I'm feeling another game. And then they asked him, "It's like, do you think someone else could do it?" And he was like, we did try to.
They can make it without me.
No, but he said that. But he also, one of his quotes was like, I should have put it down on here. But he, on one of his quotes, he was like, "We did try to give it to someone else, and that shit did not work out. That did not work out." So, but I hope what this means is we'll get some more original stuff from Nintendo, and well, before 2019, we'll see. So we got a long ways to go on the current hardware lineage that they're at. Luis, any thoughts on Nintendo here on? We can wait 20, 30 years, right, before the next.
Actually, I do got another quote, but I'm gonna let Luis.
Well, let's let Luis get to his point, and then we'll go with you, Dylan. What's up?
All
Luis?
right, so Nintendo's always kind of been working at their own pace. Like they don't, and I think in their eyes they don't really think they have any competition, or they don't necessarily try to compete with other consoles or developers or anything. So I mean, that it's probably it's them just poking fun at like, dude, we'll get it when it's out there. I mean, that's basically what they're saying. They're not like trying to hit a date. Why would they, right?
Yeah.
Their sales are still up. They're gonna reduce sales for the semiconductor stuff, but I think I also read somewhere that sales were already not gonna meet that total anyway, or projected to. So I mean, it makes sense for them to cut the production.
In a way, they're kind of like setting expectations, right? It's like, hey, we saw Microsoft put out their hardware sales, and over like 20 years they haven't said shit. So look, we sold Switches, just not as many as you think. But it's definitely, I do like the audacity, right? That they're like, look, within this next century. Before the next century starts, we will give you something else. Don't even trip. Dalan, before we move on, man, any final thoughts on Switch, Nintendo just going hard?
More so specifically Smash Brothers. Kazuya is too OP. I just played with him this weekend with a couple of friends, and man, he's way too OP. Sora, balanced. Kazuya, why?
Yeah, I mean, that game's like all kinds of wacky and broken all across the board, man. That's kind of why we like it, right? Look, and honestly, like the way I like to play Smash Brothers is give me something with the C stick or with the right stick, because that is all my attacks. That's all I'm ever using. But yeah, Smash Brothers. So I hope we see more original stuff. I know we're gonna see Breath of the Wild 2, and we'll see what else we get from Nintendo. Dalan, your big story has to do with something we might not see. Or will be limited on seeing. What was your big story for this past week?
Well, the digital versions of Metal Gear Solid 2 and Metal Gear Solid 3 will temporarily be removed starting November 8th. So in this case, the game's already taken down from all the stores. Vita, I think it's GOG, I don't even know what that stands for. The Nvidia Shield, it's taken down from everything that includes Part 2 and 3. So they're going to be down for an unknown period of time. So right now, you just can't buy it. Somebody was actually saying online that you can still play the games, or at least you can still download the games if you've already purchased them. But I don't think that would really be the case. I haven't tested
GOG is what is that? That's like a service, a PC service.
Marketplace, yeah.
It's like a marketplace, something. What game overs or something? Game.
I don't know
something.
What it
It's a
PC
service.
Kind of like Epic Games and Steam. Yeah, I understand that.
Exactly.
But the fact is, you can't download the game right now in any of these capacities, simply because Konami put up on their website, they explained themselves saying, we are currently working on renewing the licenses for select historical archive footage used in the game, which for me kind of makes sense, but at the same time, it doesn't make sense. But I'm going to come back to that because I saw a couple of comments on Twitter that I thought were very on point for this situation. You know what isn't being removed? The physical copies of Metal Gear games I've bought, owned, and kept on my shelves for years. This is what happens when we adopt a digital-only world. Many games will become impossible to legally acquire, said at Oliveira or Oliver.
I think
Gia,
it's Oliver
1014.
Gia 1014.
Oliver
give him a
Gia,
little credit out there.
Yeah,
you know,
I'll give him his credit.
Yeah.
And then along the lines, I actually saw another very simple, very quick quote by at TQT. Disc 1, digital, 0. But I think we've actually had this conversation a couple of times, especially when we spoke about games fully going to mainly just digital. I know me and you, Carlos, we love getting our physical copies every so often, but there are a lot of times where we don't care about getting a physical copy. We'll get our digital copy.
Dalan?
Hey, I got my digital copy. I wanted a physical copy, but it wasn't out at the time, and I wanted to play that game day one. I wasn't waiting. And now you're going to have to wait for your physical copy. But, the digital copies, they're still on rent. I mean, I platinum the game, so I'm not too worried about it. But everybody else who wants to get the game, they're on borrowed time. You never know what's going to happen. They can take it down any moment.
Yeah, I mean, it just goes back to really you are renting your games in that sense. I don't know if we talked about that concept before on the podcast, but it's definitely when you're buying a game on a digital platform, you're kind of renting it, right? It's a way, and it goes to this kind of thing. But I mean, if you already downloaded this, you own the digital copy of this, so you should be able to play it. Right, I feel like this is for people that
already have it downloaded should be able to play it still. But for people that purchased the game and did not re-download it but planned on doing it, they may have to wait until the game is back on the store for download.
But I mean, it just makes sense. I mean, it's when they do re-releases of these games, right? They license for that version of the game, right? And they put limits on the contracts, right? It's like we have all this archival footage, which I'm assuming it's not really that expensive. I think it's mainly, like, I would assume in this case is, kind of getting the right permits across or something like that. Because I feel like I don't remember necessarily them using anything like, oh, this is amazing, this is from like movies or anything like that, right? It's got to be something that where it's like, either they're kind of flexing a little bit and it's like, look, we want to get this game up. We want to shoot you a couple of dollars of royalties every month, but we got to renegotiate or whatever it is. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. If you have physical, then you can always pop your disc in. You can always enjoy the music that originally came with it, all the licenses, everything. But that's part of the contract as well, right? That you're going to be allowed to sell this physically with these licenses, this music, and people do what they will. But yeah, it's definitely a couple more points for physical. But I feel like maybe you have a counter to this, Luis, or how you feeling?
Yeah, I was about to ask you, Luis, what was your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they just have to get on. I think the problem with that older game specifically is that there was never any sort of intention or even idea of it going digital at any point, right? These were all physical hard copies. So maybe it's just sort of a shift in negotiation. Whereas, I mean, you don't really hear about movies coming off of being able to get purchased or rented because of some archival footage being used for whether it be World War II or whatever, 9/11, who knows. So yeah, maybe they just have to change the way they approach those sort of contracts and licenses and just say like for this game with the lifetime.
I think it's like what you're saying. I think it's what you're saying, right? Like it's just a matter of probably of like legal quirks, right? Or legal contract quirks where in the video game world they're like, we're going to sell this game for a few months and then it'll be out of circulation. Whereas movies, I think they've had so much time, 100+ years of this is our distribution model. Oh, ad infinitum. Is that the word, Dalan? Yeah, I know you know your Latin.
I have no idea.
Forever, in any shape, way, or form, the way this is presented is the way we're going to continue selling it forever type of thing.
You say that, but then they've had many a times where they've had to cut scenes from movies because they don't hold up or they no longer have the license to portray that character anymore, or they wanted to just adjust their movies.
See, one thing adjusting them, like let's say the E.T. examples, right, with Steven Spielberg, right, that he himself was like, I don't know if I like them holding shotguns no more. I kind of want them holding walkie-talkie. But I feel like that's at the artist's discretion or the director's discretion. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess you'd have to point out some examples where they like actually like rip out music. Like, you know, a lot of movies use American Pie, the song in a lot of different ways. I just saw the Tom Hanks movie that just came out, and American Pie is in that. The song, yeah, Finch. And I doubt like American Pie is gonna be ripped out of all the movies that have used that song over time. It's just a part of the package that forevermore those scenes will stay in there, right? So I think it's kind of what Luis was alluding to, or basically what he was saying, that it's a matter of, I think, maybe like a legal contract quirk that we sold this as a physical disc that, you know, because games is pretty much front loaded as far as their sales are concerned. They sell the most amount they'll sell in like a month or two, whereas I think movies, we've come to accept that they are part of a collection. They're part of your library for years and years and years, right? And I think games have to catch up a little bit in that sense, where they're like, you're signing here, but digital, physical, everything, we will keep it as such. But I think it might also be one of those things where video games are definitely ever evolving and updating, and you know, every time you submit a new well, maybe you can help me with this. At least, do you every time you submit like a new update or a new build of a game, it's like you also have to introduce a new legal document? Hey, don't blur out on us, Luis. You blurred out hard when you looked away.
I'm still here.
Do you feel like maybe because it technologically and games are always updated and new music, for example, when Rocket League is introduced and taken away, do you think they'll ever solve that because of how games evolve and update over time, or do you think they could still get kind of figure that out?
I'm pretty sure they could figure it out. I mean, it's also probably just a question of, do you want to pay that, whatever that premium is, of like, because I mean, I personally don't really, if there's a digital game that I bought and I purchased and downloaded it and now it's on my purchase list and I can re-download it whenever, that's fine to me.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm all for the preservation of games, but if there's a game that I never bought that gets removed from a store 20 years ago that it was released, I'm not gonna start crying and bitching that you know what? I planned on playing that game next week and now it's gone. Like,
but it doesn't have Smash Mouth. But it doesn't have Smash Mouth in it, so no. I'm gonna not buy it anymore.
Well, I mean, you did buy Tony Hawk like 10 times, so.
Yeah, and it was missing some music, but I didn't cry foul. I just accepted it and moved on with my life. And I moved on with my life. All right, Dalan. Well, before we move on, man, any final thoughts here on this? Are you missing it though? Are you really missing this? You've played through though, man. You ain't tripping about it, right?
I'm missing Kojima being a part of Konami. That's why
he's long gone, man. Go buy Death Stranding for the 5th time. Go buy it again.
Hey, but the thing in my case is I do hope that they actually decide to just remake some of these games, because I know they remade Part 1, and Twin Snakes turned out pretty great on GameCube. And then 2 and 3, I mean, 3 keeps breaking systems. It barely ran on the 3DS, and they keep trying to re-release this game. They need to just rebuild that game so it stops breaking systems. They could do it now.
Yeah, I mean, 2 and 3 were cool, man, and I like how they switched it around. And they're like, "You're playing with Raiden. Don't even is it Raiden or Raiden, Dalan? Help me out here with the lore."
It's however you feel about
all of a sudden, Dalan. All of a sudden, we're understanding Dalan. Okay,
I'm gonna be able to hear Switzerland on my end for that.
You know what it is? It's Monday, right, Dalan? You don't want to fight. You don't want to fight today. The fight is not in you right now. Luis, what is your big story, man, of the last week? Is this a licensing thing too as well, or no? Your big story. Okay.
I know you're trying to find that segue, but
you know. Hey, I was fishing, dude.
So you know what? Here we go. You know what else we'll be missing? Chris Pratt from Devil May Cry's Netflix series. So in an interview with IGN Japan, Adi Shankar, who also worked on the Netflix Castlevania series, said, quote, "I can confirm that Virgil is in it, as well as Lady, and of course Dante as well. I can also confirm that Chris Pratt won't be voicing any of the characters," end quote.
I like it.
So, I mean, this has all come up with Chris Pratt's newest announcements of he's voicing Mario and Garfield for the new movies coming out. But I mean, this guy's got
Chavo del Ocho
projects.
Chavo del Ocho as well.
So that's what, all these memes spawned from this, which is why I think he decided to kind of poke fun at it and insert a little joke there of like, oh, well, he's not going to be in this series. So But I mean, Chris Pratt's he's gonna be fine. He's got multiple projects confirmed in production, post production, and pre production. So on top of the Mario and Garfield voices, he's been in Jurassic World Dominion, which is in post production. Thor: Love and Thunder, which is in I think. The Terminal is pre production. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is in production, and then the holiday special for Guardians of the Galaxy will be coming out, as well as a really wacky movie title called Cowboy Ninja Viking.
Reasonable.
You can guess what, that's all one person, by the way, who will have all those abilities. But I guess
Cowboy is
Carlos,
an ability. Okay.
Cowboy
look,
abilities, ninja abilities, Viking abilities. So comment on what, if any of this means anything to you.
Yeah, dude. I mean, look, as far as the internet is concerned, anyone can get it, and right now Chris Pratt is definitely getting it. The only thing this kind of reminds me of when what was the guy, Nathan Drake guy, the actor, the voice
Nolan
actor.
North?
No, when Nolan North was in everything. Or was it him or the Last of Us guy? One of them. But yeah, I mean, people are hot for a time and then they, go away for a little bit. And right now is Chris Pratt's time. And I do like his journey. The fact that he came from like a chubby guy from Parks and Recreation, right? Like a secondary sort of character. Dalan forgot that was him. Yeah, that was him, Dalan. I'm sorry to break it to you.
No. I remember that he was in Parks and Recs because he was
that was apparently a shock.
Homeless the entire series.
That was apparently a very shocking revelation to you, Dalan. But that's fine. But I do appreciate.
I was thinking when you said Nolan, and I was like, Nolan. Do you mean Nolan? Oh man, no,
not Nathan.
Fillion.
Okay, so I thought you were talking about Nathan Fillion.
Which I just saw him as a cop in something recently. I was like, there he goes again. There goes Nathan
the
Fillion.
rookie.
Is that what it is? But yeah, I mean, my only thoughts is I do like how anybody can get it, and like Devil May Cry guy is probably like Chris Pratt. No, he is not in this. Let me just put that to sleep to rest real quick. But he's hot right now, and it's good, man. He'll keep working. He'll be fine. Dalan, you got thoughts on this?
I hope the Devil May Cry series is going to be good because the original 12-episode anime when they came out was definitely excellent to me, and they never carried on with it. But
they've done an anime.
Who voices them as long as they sound okay. I really don't care who voices them at all. I don't care if Chris Pratt voices Mario as long as he sounds good playing the voice of Mario. Obviously, yes, we want him to sound Italian, but that's why you act. You act.
Sorry, Dalan.
You don't have to.
If you guys didn't know, that's why you act. You have to just act.
That's why you act. That's how you are an actor. You don't have to actually be a terrorist to pretend to be a terrorist. Is that what you thought about
Scarlett Johansson?
You don't have to be an assassin to pretend to be an assassin.
Okay.
I hope you're
trying
okay.
to bring up Ghost in the Shell. You don't have to pretend to be cyborg.
Japanese.
To be a cyborg. Yeah, I understand the Japanese thing was a huge issue. It was a whole whitewashing situation. But
how he feels about it is that's how he sums up his thoughts on it.
No, but I'll tell you what, if Scarlett Johansson played the voice of Major rather than playing the physical embodiment of Major, who would really complain about that?
Fair. I mean, you pretty much put a pin on that, Dalan. Pretty much put a pin. Luis, did we hear your thoughts on this before we move on?
I mean, yeah, whatever. It's like him not playing Dante and Devil May Cry is not going to make me not watch it, right? And I think it's just an internet thing, just continuing the meme. Chris Pratt will be fine.
It should be. He
has plenty of projects. I just watched the Tomorrow War. It was better than people said it was.
No, Dalan, don't say that, dude.
Did you watch the Tomorrow
I watched
War,
like
Carlos?
15, 20 minutes. I was like, I'm out. I've seen enough. I've seen enough. But I mean, as far as the Devil May Cry stuff, it's the same producer from Castlevania, right? And that was pretty decent show, right?
Yeah, so those guys are getting a lot of projects right now.
So at the very least, Devil May Cry should be in good hands, whether it's Chris Pratt or not. Maybe they bring him on as a little guest voice or something, just so they could kind of fuck with people. And they'll be like,
I gotta admit, those people have been having hit or miss situations because I know they did. Zeus, Blood Zeus, or something like that. I can't remember what it was called, but that one was also on Netflix. Same people, and I checked out after the first episode on that one.
All right. Well, look, Dalan, you know what? Who's not hoping you check out after you play this game? Battlefield 2042 is getting a 10-hour trial through EA Play, which is part of the Xbox Game Pass Ultimate situation. I don't know about you, Lise, but this kind of got me a little hyped, man, because I definitely... You're going to tell me there's no campaign. You're going to try to give me a clip that's a story narration. I don't want that crap. I want an actual campaign, even if it's 2 hours long. Even if it's 90 minutes long, I want a campaign. But EA Play Xbox Game Pass is giving us 10 hours of Battlefield 2042. I don't know about you, man, but I feel like that's kind of nice. And I'm sure after 10 hours, I'll know if I want more of that or not. So I kind of feel like that. Game Pass, dude, the best deal in game. Hey, where's the camera? Game Pass. Who else? GameFly. Where's our sponsorship? All right, Netflix, man, we need that sponsor. Netflix.
Chris Pratt, show up on our show. It's fine. And I'll call out Keanu Reeves too because you're a nice guy. Come on the show.
So Lise, what do you think, man? What's the 10-hour trial? It's pretty good, right? Or what?
Yeah, I mean, this is something that came out of left field. Totally was not expecting it. But then when you think about it, I mean, they've got the EA bundle in there, so it kind of makes sense, you know. And definitely 10 hours is way more than enough time to know whether or not you want to buy a game. Especially, like you're saying, we're big fans of the shooters, the big blockbuster, Fast and Furious type of blockbuster games, I guess. Having campaigns. So, I mean, I was already thinking of buying this game, but now that the 10-hour trial's there, I'm gonna try it out first and then see.
That's what I was gonna say, because you're probably gonna buy this, right? You're probably gonna drop the 60, 70, whatever it is, right? So I was definitely thinking about it, but not really, you know. But now it's like, okay, I'm gonna give it 10 hours. I can at least give it 10 hours. So with Game Pass, you can do it. Speaking of which, our summer blockbuster, dude, Vanguard came out. Vanguard came out last Friday, and I'm kind of like, I don't know. I gotta wait on a deal or something, but I'm ready.
Did that game come out?
That's what I'm saying, right? Like, it's kind of like Vanguard came out, the newest, the latest Call of Duty.
Commercials that I kept pushing it to the side. I'm like, oh, commercial Vanguard. All right, done.
The latest Call of Duty came out, and they say in Spanish, "Los veo muy tranquilos." Like, you know, I see everyone's real calm about this. It just dropped, and everyone's real calm around here, and that's how it feels, man. I feel like I can, at this point, I don't know, wait till it's a little cheaper. And they're doing the cross-gen bundle crap too, where they charge you an extra $10 to get PS4, PS5, or whatever. So that's kind of like, you guys need to settle down with that shit. The other thing they need to really settle down with. There is a Skyrim Anniversary Edition, which is Morrowind, 5 or 6 or whatever it is. I don't care. It's fantasy. That's dropping November 11th. But if you have the Skyrim Special Edition, which I guess it dropped at some point, if you have that version, it's $20, which I'm assuming all this is through Steam. Lisa, I don't know if you've been following this too much.
It's the upgrade pass. Yeah, okay. So if you have the Special Edition, it's only $20 to upgrade to the Anniversary Edition. That's what it is.
Is that through consoles as well, or no? It's through PC. You know
what? I'm actually not sure. I would hope that it's. I mean, not that I care. I mean, it's fantasy, right? Who cares about fantasy?
I mean, fantasy games.
Hold up.
I mean, Dalan, let's just be honest here. Dungeon Master.
I'm watching you both actually talk crap about high fantasy. Like, no.
On the rundown,
are you getting this, Dalan?
Dalan, on the rundown, you have I don't care about this, so obviously you don't care about fantasy either.
I mean, come on.
No. We were talking about Skyrim specifically. Now you're hitting up high fantasy. Now we're on a different subject.
Fantasy, high fantasy, it's all whack. It's all whack, Dylan.
Low fantasy, high fantasy.
Low, mid, high fantasy, whatever. They can all get it.
Dang.
Anyways, please, what are your thoughts on this, man? It's a little wacky, but I kind of like it. As Dalan, I feel like he mentioned either last podcast or 2 podcasts ago, right? That the Skyrim producer, whoever it was, is like, as long as people keep buying it, we'll keep selling it to them.
It's just gonna happen.
So what is that? Is that the thought, Luis? That they'll keep releasing?
And I mean, I guess here they're rewarding people who keep buying it, right? If you bought the last one, you could just upgrade to the new one. So I guess in a way, that's cool that they're doing that. But I mean, come on. If you want the next Skyrim, just stop buying Skyrim.
Like stop logging into GTA 5. The same thing.
No, because we're still getting that one.
Skyrim, look, Skyrim.
The facial expression you just get.
Hey, Skyrim, you know what? The thing is, GTA 5, at least they're updating it and giving you content, right? Like Skyrim, it's like, you guys are really dropping the same fucking game every single time. And it's like, no. And they're like, no. Wait. We got you. $20, and you can upgrade to the latest one, even though this is the 7th time you've bought this thing. So next thing we have on here is Back for Blood is apparently giving us a solo offline mode in December, which means that they're gonna. I think we've talked about it here, but that there was some kind of wackiness where it didn't let you progress if you're playing just yourself and bots. But they're allowing that now when this update drops, that you get in a solo offline mode. So it seems kind of interesting. I don't know. I might maybe tinker with it a little bit, see what kind of trophies I can get or whatever the case is. But you have some thoughts on this, right, Dalan? Are you excited about a solo offline play with progression?
This is a follow-up thought, because we talked about this before, about how the fact that they had this solo
no, we talked about it before.
Get any progress from
well, that's what I'm saying though. But they said that in December they're gonna update it to where you're gonna be able to get progress.
Because they finally looked at it and said, well, why the hell do we have solo mode if we can't bring it over?
They probably looked at Left 4 Dead and was like, what the hell? What is this? What Left 4 Dead? We just came out and they're beating us right now. But other than that, right? Okay, follow up thought, Dalan, or that was it? That
was the follow up thought. That was my
okay,
thought
from
a previous podcast. That was my follow up.
Will you consider a solo offline mode, especially now that there's progress, possibilities, and all that?
I barely play multiplayer mode. Are we gonna play tonight?
Dude, I was doing Destiny a little bit.
That
weekly.
See,
hey, can you see it? The little scratch that we're doing a little weekly reset. We're doing a little weekly reset.
The day before the reset.
Yeah, and then Forza dropped too, so we got to mess with that a little bit. Finally, at the Deo, we see you out there with your pictures, man.
Where's my camera?
Where's my camera? Deo, we see you with all these pictures hyping us up for this game, man. We finally get to play it. All right, we finally get to play it. The next thing on here, so Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl apparently leaked. A lot of information dropped from that, Luis, or maybe you can kind of give us a little more background on this. What's going on with Pokemon Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl? The sea is coming for all of us everywhere. That's the full title.
So continuing on the Chris Pratt thing, anybody can get it apparently. I mean, Nintendo seems to be one of those people that they keep a tight lid on most things, right? And when a leak happens, you're kind of surprised. You're like, oh damn, what happened? But here, so apparently copies of it made it out into the wild, and people are posting videos, screenshots, and all these things of the game, and they're trying to scramble to take these things down because, I mean, for the most part, these are remakes of the Game Boy games, right? Diamond and Pearl. Or they were Game Boy or DS games? I actually don't remember.
I think they might have been DS. Quite possibly.
Okay.
It might have been DS.
So, but apparently there's also been a lot of updates to the game that were not public knowledge yet. So those features are starting to get out there, and they're trying to take them down is what's going on.
Yeah. Are you so it's not the game itself, right? But I mean, even getting the game itself is when is the
I mean, that's how these videos and screenshots are getting put on the internet, because copies are out there in the wild. So
Dalan, don't copy that floppy. We know what you're thinking right now. Don't copy
Pokemon.
that floppy.
I can't even remember the last Pokemon game I played.
Dude, I always play myself on these Pokemon games. Like I'm always like
I played Pokemon Snap, but before that, I don't remember what Pokemon game I played.
Well, Pokemon Proper. Pokemon Proper, I always play myself. Pokemon Proper, I always play myself. I'm like, I'm gonna play it this time. Yeah, I'm gonna play it this time. And every single time I play like 2-3 hours, I'm like, damn, I played myself yet again, paid $50-$60, and here I am giving up on another Pokemon game. Luis, do you care about this one? Do you care about this remake, or you just kind of, is it just
I'll get it. I get every single Pokemon game that comes out. I mean, I'm one of the people that's been playing Pokemon Go since it launched. So like that's my.
You still playing that game?
I said since launch, Dalan.
Come on, Dalan. He just said
it.
Played it this morning.
Dude, I was tripping out. We were driving around the other day, and my wife popped out Pokemon Go. I was like, what are you doing? And she's like, oh, Pokemon Go. I was like, you don't even play this. You decided that randomly while we were driving around. Let me bust out the phone and play some little Pokemon Go.
Hey, still slaps, man.
Hey, man, people are still getting down. Now, you haven't looked into like any. I know you don't copy that floppy, but has any of the details like? Have you looked at anything that has
made it in front of my eyes yet? So, no. But either way, I was getting it, so there's no reason for me to like look up stuff, right? I'll just
when does it come out? It's coming out soon, right? I'm assuming the next month or so.
Holiday-ish, yeah.
Okay. The next thing we have on here, so Fortnite decided to, or Epic, right, decided to remove the Travis Scott emote from the game, especially after, if you guys have been following all the kind of craziness from Astroworld. I haven't really like dissected it or gotten really into it, but I think it was like 8 people got like died, right? And a few other like severely were like hurt, and apparently there was a wild man just injecting people randomly, from what I understand. It's like
injecting people.
Luis, you can back me up on this, right? Like,
like security guards and stuff.
It's crazy, dude. Like, what the hell is going on over here? I've never been to Texas. I don't know if I ever want to go to Texas, but Dalan, let's get. Well, actually, you know what? At least maybe you could give us a little background, because I think Dalan's still a little confused as to why they would even like remove an emote. Do you have some thoughts on why they would remove it, so we can enlighten Dalan here a little bit?
Actually, I think Dalan and I might kind of agree on this a little bit. I'm a little
okay,
more of a gray area, but
let's hear it. Let's hear it.
It's a weird decision to remove something that's. I'm pretty sure this has been there. If not, then if it was just recently added, then that makes more sense to me, right? For them to pull it to not sort of be in the same on par with what's going on, or with this whole Astroworld scenario. But I mean, they've partnered with Travis Scott multiple times.
Well,
already,
I mean, I think mainly what it is, it's, you see it on Twitch, right? When they'll remove little emotes that are associated with like negative events, right? Or like they're people that are bullying, you have this whole cyberbullying stuff or whatever. I don't think it's necessarily like Travis Scott, we're blaming him, because I know Travis Scott has actually come out. Look, I'm not a fan, or I don't like or dislike him or anything like that, right? But I feel like, as from what I've seen, is that he's actually come out and apologetic, right? It's like, damn, I can't believe this happened and all that. But I think there was people that were blaming him, right, for maybe instigating it or whatever it is.
He didn't even instigate it.
That's
but
he has a tendency to rile up the crowd.
Well, it's part of his show, right? Like, I mean, you go to like the hair bands in the 80s or whatever, like it's part of the presentation, right? Like, it might get a little wacky, right? But I think as far as like Fortnite is concerned, I think removing it is in a way where people will associate a Travis Scott emote with, this is the crap that happened at Astroworld, or things that maybe were out of his control, right? Or maybe they were in his control, however you see it, right? But I think what happens,
blame, they're just like, let's not put it up right now. So it may not even be a permanent removal, because to answer one of your questions, I was going to bring it up earlier, but I didn't want to cut you off, but I'm doing it now.
Oh, you definitely are doing it now, but
yeah, I'm doing it now.
Please to continue.
They actually cycle out the daily content that you could buy, and one of the things that was gonna be on the store was going to be the Travis Scott emote, and they decided to shut down the daily part of it for one day because Travis Scott was supposed to be on it. They were like, nah, let's shut it down for a day and just not have it up there. So it might even cycle in the future, and they gave no real explanation as to why they actually shut it down for the day. But
well, they don't give an explanation, but it kind of goes to like some of these emotes is like they've done it with Twitch, whether it's an artist or not an artist, but just like people associate that emote with, whatever kind of negative connotations, especially this being so recent in our mind. Yes, they can say that as an excuse that it's part of the rotation, but I mean, obviously, even if it wasn't part of the rotation, you're like, we're gonna remove this for a little while, so
for
people,
a little while. It's
so
like,
so
don't
people
take it away forever, but remove it for a little while. That makes sense, because you don't want to give that reminder to the people who still has it fresh in their mind. And it's kind of like when we were playing that one Canadian game where we were running people over and trying to kill zombies or whatever, and then they got postponed because of the whole thing that happened in Canada.
Yeah, the death bus to like Canada or something like that, and there was like a bus that actually ran people over in Canada. I was like, oh, damn.
Let's not put this out. That seems like a bad idea.
That was one of the trippiest like codes we've gotten, and I didn't. It wasn't with We Got Comms. I was with like something. It was before I had.
It was when we were doing Salient Points.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. We were doing like the previous iteration of this show. But yeah, we had that code for like 5 months or something, man. And that thing happened like the week of, and they were like, we're going to push it back. We'll maybe change the name. We'll maybe do this, do that. And then by the time it dropped, it had been months since it happened. And people were like, yeah, all right, let's just put this out there. Let's see what we can get out of it. But I think whether it's the right thing to, I think for the most part it's the right thing to do, right? Just temporarily, like, look, we already know
temporarily, but they didn't say temporarily when people were mentioning this on the news. Everybody was saying removed. I'm like, man, why would you just outright remove it? You know, it's not necessarily Travis Scott's fault. I mean, the people in the crowd were just pushing forward towards the stage for whatever godly reason, whether it be he was coaxing them into riling them up.
I don't think you've ever been to like a concert or anything.
I've never been to his concerts, but I have been to those concerts where the mosh pit shows up and people are getting socked. The people that are singing aren't even doing nothing; they're just singing, but everybody's getting socked in the crowd anyway. So
I think the difference is Travis Scott has a tendency to create that environment, so like he does have some sort of fault. Right, whether or not he instigated that one specifically, the people expect that sort of like, I guess, scenario, culture, reaction, that type of stuff. So,
yeah, I mean, look, we'll see it right now. It's associated with this kind of eight people die at a concert, man. Like I feel like that, and then there's a guy going around.
Say this publicly, my condolences to those families for the 8 that died. Of course, I wish the best for everybody that's in the hospital. So,
yeah, it's just a wild scenario, right? So, yeah, I mean, Fortnite, they kind of remove it for now, and then they'll bring it back, I guess, at some point. Once things settle down a bit. The other thing,
I'm sorry, I was just suddenly thinking. I read that this concert was on November 5th, so I'm like, remember the 5th of November.
Dalan, I mean, you just gave people condolences, and you're like, you know what I remember? V for Vendetta. That's what I remember. That's what popped in my head. So congratulations, Dalan. Congratulations. Dan, please to move on. What's going on with Xur? There's a gun that's like so hot or something in Destiny 2, and he was kidnapped. Kind of want to know a little bit about this, Dan. What do you mean? How they kidnapped Xur?
All right, so for those that don't know, Xur is a weekend shop. He comes up for 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then he's gone. That's it. And for the past year or something like that, he's only been really giving out exotic weapons and exotic armor, right? If you have the materials to be able to pick it up. But about 2 weeks ago, they suddenly added legendary gear to what you could actually purchase from them. And the very first week that legendary gear came up, there was a hand cannon with what they call a god roll, and it had perks that everybody freaking wanted. And so one guy decided to go to Xur, sit there and stay logged in past the weekend so that people could keep swapping in and out of his team so they could still purchase the gun that they didn't get at the time.
Reasonable.
And he sat there for 2 extra days past the time that Xur was supposed to leave, and people were actually hitting him up on the Destiny app and online and just be like, hey, can I join you so I can get this gun? Hey, can I join you so I can get this gun?
Dude.
So
this is the kind of wackiness that I signed up for in Destiny, man. This is the exact kind of wackiness.
We did that at one point where we would actually beat a raid or something like that, and we would have people cycle in and get the chest and then leave as long as they had the key for it.
Now, so I would have thought Bungie would have figured out kind of how to avoid that, or maybe they could have booted the guy. But was there a response from Bungie or anything like that in what you looked up for this, or? Did Bungie say anything?
There was no response to Bungie. Yeah. They just thought it was funny.
Because I think as a developer, man, I don't know about you, Luis, but I feel like this is the kind of wackiness that you're like, damn, these motherfuckers are really. What are they doing right now? And you would chuckle. Would you chuckle at this kind of thing, Luis, at these kind of shenanigans? If it was your game or you had worked on it, or you'd be like, damn, we need a boot.
But the problem here is that I'm pretty sure Bungie's going to sort of ban this guy or something. Which
so?
No.
Hold on, Dalan. Let him speak, Dalan.
They've done this before, though, on things that they released the game in a broken state. Someone exploited it, and then they banned them. And to me, that's never made sense because you allowed this to happen. So someone is playing the game, quote unquote, as how it's intended to be played.
Yeah.
Probably not your intention, but you're allowing them to do that. They're not hacking the game. They're not doing anything.
Yeah.
Are you hearing this?
I feel. Yeah. You know what? I feel and I feel you on this, Lise, because they have done wacky, dumb stuff like that. But I feel in this case, I think they will let it go, but I don't know. I guess we'll see. We'll see. I
It's
hope
like,
not, because
hey,
they
if these
do dumb
legendary
stuff.
weapons keep showing up, it may end up happening again and again. So.
I think in that case, if it's a continuous thing where people just keep doing it week after week, I feel like at that point they'll be like, all right, we've seen enough. Let's shut this whole shop down. The other people that are not trying to shut things down is Ubisoft. Has given their developers pay raises to stop them from leaving. You got a few more details on this, Luis? It's kind of interesting, right?
Yeah, so I guess there's a huge exodus of developers leaving their Canadian studios. So they've decided to give pay raises across the board, not necessarily specific people. So the pay raises are going to rank between 5% to like 20%, depending on your position, which, I mean, in that sense, it does skew things a bit, right? Someone that's making 50K will only get another 2,500
Yeah.
or something, and
Yeah.
someone that's making 100K will get like the 20,000 pay raise.
Yeah.
But the problem with this is that they're not addressing the problem at the root of this, and people are leaving because apparently midway through last year there was a huge sort of I wouldn't say an uproar, but a scale in reporting sexual harassment in the workplace.
Yeah.
So they're doing this because people are leaving since they haven't addressed it, and they're just giving pay raises without addressing the root of the cause of why people are leaving. So people are still kind of pushing back at them, saying like, "Hey, you're not actually doing what we're asking you to do,"
Yeah.
and that's why they're
So
still.
it's a little, it's kind of a, it's a little shady, and it's kind of goes to the like, well, money solves everything, right? Like, and unfortunately for some of these people, it'll be like one of those like, damn, I'll stay. I don't like it, but I'll get a little raise. I'll get a nice little raise out of it, unfortunately, right? I mean, and you can't necessarily blame them, but at the same time, you would think Ubisoft is like, all right, let's fix things. And I think they have publicly come out and said that, because I know they even like compared to the Activision thing, right? And it was like, oh, well, Activision kind of cleared up their things rather quickly, even though it's still ongoing, right? But from the outside looking in to Ubisoft, they're fixing it quickly. And I think somebody from Ubisoft high up said, we hope to fix things like that very quickly. But for now, it's looking like they're happy with the Band-Aid, right? Like with the...
Yeah, I'm hoping
We're
that's
working
more what
on
it is, though, that they're just stopping the bleeding. Because if this keeps happening, then they are going to have to. I mean, they're releasing an Assassin's Creed expansion,
Yeah.
a free expansion soon. So if this keeps happening, they might have to delay it. They might have to delay other games, So
Yeah.
that's probably why they're
Yeah.
doing this. or at
And
least
maybe
hoping.
maybe we can move up the Overwatch thing a little bit, because it kind of relates to it at least. But like even Diablo 4 and Overwatch 2 got delayed to like a vague 20, was it I put 2023, right? Maybe like a 2023, I feel is kind of what they said. But so The Verge said Activision, this is from TheVerge.com, Activision Blizzard mentioned, quote, higher voluntary turnover, end quote, and quote, the departure of a number of individuals across the company as factors contributing to this new delay. And it's kind of like how you were mentioning, it's like people leave willingly and they're just like, let's just get at it here, right? This is what happens to your game. So it does matter. I know some people are like, it doesn't matter what's happening at a company because whatever, I'll still get my games this holiday season or whatever. It's like, well, no, maybe not. Diablo 4, Overwatch 2, and then whatever Ubisoft is working. I think that update you were mentioning is coming out this week, Luis, but for future updates, right? And I think it's been so successful. Valhalla has been so successful for them, apparently, that we should be seeing more things. But if they don't have the people to kind of work on it because they're leaving, because the rot at the center of the company, this is to happen. Any thoughts on this Diablo 4 and Overwatch stuff?
Yeah, I think it's definitely similar and related to the similar situations. But I think this one mostly has to do with the fact that the leads of these projects left. Or, I mean, one of them was let go because of the whole sexual misconduct stuff.
Yeah.
And the other one willingly left to pursue other ventures. I think she even said, like, to try to address the core of the problem in the game industry, sort of to have a bigger impact outside of, like, one studio.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that was the main reason. But still, yeah, if these things keep happening, then everything's gonna get delayed. I mean,
Yeah.
so
And and the other, there's another delay coming. Well, or at least they're kind of closing in on a launch, I suppose. But Hogwarts Legacy is now coming in the second half of 22, which actually puts this thing past the next Fantastic Beasts 3. I didn't even know they had done a third one. I don't even really know what the original Fantastic Beast is, but that one's coming out April 15, 2022. And now Hogwarts Legacy, which we still kind of don't have too many details, right? Besides it's a Warner Brothers game, and that should be coming the second, at least after the movie, is what they're saying. Luis, thoughts on that, man? Are you hyped about this game? That's kind of
yeah, I think we've only gotten, it might have been E3 time. I don't remember the last E3, but yeah, we've only gotten that one trailer. Or it might have been a PlayStation State of Play like a year and a half ago or so. Yeah, I'm excited for this. I'm gonna check it out. If they need to delay it, go ahead and delay it. I got a huge backlog I could get to in that time. So
we got
I'm not
February
tripping.
2022, dude. Don't forget about those hot games coming. Everything's dropping in February. Dalan, any thoughts on Hogwarts Legacy, man? Kind of closing in on a date, I suppose.
Uh, Honestly, I don't mind that they pushed it back because that means I could just focus on Fantastic Beasts 3. By the way, Carlos, you did watch Fantastic Beasts because I made you watch it, but that's fine.
Who's over here forcing me to watch movies, Dylan?
Okay, well, I didn't force you, but you saw it while you were at my house. But it was Fantastic Beasts.
I don't
and
remember.
Where to find them.
Must have been
I
under
know
some
you don't.
kind of influences.
Fantastic Beasts and the Crimes of Grindelwald. I
Wow.
can't pronounce his last
Fantasy,
name.
huh?
Then,
Fantasy.
Hey, high fantasy, man. Dragons, magic.
Fantasy, mid, low fantasy don't matter, Dalen. It's all trash. All right?
I hate you.
Give me the VAT system in Fallout 3. That's what I need. Just give me more Fallout. Just give me more Fallout. All right? Stop working on the fantasy games.
You love your post-apocalyptic. That's what you love. You're out there with you very much into Mad Max. That's where you're at.
Hey, Fallout is nice, man. But you know who's kind of a little upset? Apparently, I like the smoke on this one, but apparently the Square Enix president, he said that Crystal Dynamics was the wrong fit for quote unquote a disappointing Marvel's Avengers. And besides that, there's a couple of other Spider-Man news, but we'll drop it into the next story here. How do you like the smoke on this, Lisa? The fact that the Square Enix president's like, you know what, Crystal Dynamics, we might have fucked up on this one. We might have dropped the ball here.
Yeah, I think this was part of like some sort of meeting with like executives and partners and investors, and they sort of were trying to address the root of the cause. Like, why did this game not reach our expectations? And I don't know if this was necessarily supposed to have this sort of public
impact,
knowledge variable to it. But yeah, that's kind of whack that they're removing blame. At least it seems so based off of this excerpt and quote that I'm seeing on this website. But yeah, I think it was more just. It could have just been him saying like, damn, I screwed up, like I should have picked somebody else. These guys typically work on single player games, adventure games. We thought the adventure game aspect was going to help us out, but I mean, this game, it was an adventure game, but it did require multiplayer and app purchases, like all that stuff. So that could have been a big factor as to why they probably didn't perform how they wanted to.
I think the marketing could have been better, man, because I actually did play this game. I don't know if I bought it. I think I might have actually bought it. Because the campaign is, you can play the campaign as like an Uncharted Light. I've always considered it sort of an Uncharted Light where the mechanics are kind of nice. It does remind you of like there's traversal moments where you climb and you do all kinds of cool stuff in the game. But I think they really promoted this game heavily as a multiplayer game. And I don't think I've ever stepped into the multiplayer aspect of it. I just played a couple hours of the campaign, and I think I was happy enough to be like, I'll pick it up. I think it's, Gamefly gave us a sponsorship. I think I had Gameflighted, and I was like, I might as well keep it because I like the campaign enough, And it's kind of weird because they're dropping new Spider-Man content. There was going to be new Spider-Man content for it. It's finally dropping November 30th. It's the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 exclusive. They're calling it the quote with great power end quote hero event. So it's a little weird to hear they were the wrong fit for disappointing Marvel's Avengers. Oh, by the way, we're dropping new content, so please to check that out. In other Spider-Man news, this was this was kind of interesting, but Ted Price, the CEO of Insomniac Games, this past week said that Marvel's Spider-Man final boss, so this is the 2018 Spider-Man, the final boss was reduced in scale to avoid crunch. So they were trying to avoid crunch for the development team, and as far as he was concerned, it made for a more emotional battle. I gotta be honest with you, sometimes I play these games, Critical Path them, and I sort of remember the final battle, but it was kind of cool, right? There's a lot of smashing, there's a lot of going across buildings, right? From what I remember, I liked it. Maybe I did like it. Maybe he's telling the truth here, that it made for a more emotional battle, the fact that it was a smaller scale version of it. But yeah, I definitely did like it.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on this, of what Ted Price said here, Luis?
Yeah, honestly, if he had never said this, I would have never even thought anything of it. I mean, it definitely was a pretty emotional, like, climax to the game, but I never for one moment thought, oh man, this battle wasn't as epic as I would have hoped it would have been.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to me, because it
Yeah.
could have, according to him, was even bigger than that.
Yeah.
So,
I know
yeah,
I
I
said
mean,
no to this, but I got to comment.
Because I do remember, like, I think I do remember the ending of it, and I don't think like I was disappointed, but I did think it was a little odd that it ended in that way, right? Not as epic as you expect. Not to say I didn't like it, but you're like, oh wow, we did fight the Rhino guy, and that one seemed super epic. I don't know if you guys remember that. That's in the original, right? 2018 Spider-Man. The Rhino guy, or when you're in his biker shop or whatever it is. That one was pretty crazy. Tombstone. What was I saying?
Yeah.
The
Rhino guy.
biker shop.
Oh, you do fight the Rhino guy, right? You fight him along with his homie, right? The Mantis guy or whatever it is, right? Is that?
I remember you quote unquote fighting him with Miles. I don't remember fighting him with Spider-Man.
Maybe
in that
you're
game.
right. They kind of blend together. Even though Miles, he's cool actually, because he's way cooler than fucking, what's his name, Tony Parker, whatever that guy's name is. But yeah, Miles Morales definitely had a little more spice. It was a little nicer. But I think I agree with, like, it was nice. It was nice, a nice ending to kind of a nice prolonged game. Dalan, your thoughts on this?
My thoughts is that the 2018 Spider-Man was not an emotional ending for me. I just wanted to beat Mr. Negative, or whatever the heck they called him, and I was glad that it was taken down. It was more of a highlight for me, but not emotional. I'll tell you what, the Miles Morales ending, that was emotional.
It's kind of nice. I mean, you got the power of the
Probably
PS5.
why they went that route with that then,
Yeah,
because it was, to them, was successful from the first one, I guess.
Now, do you have any thoughts on? Did you feel like it was maybe that's why you didn't like it? Do you feel like it was smaller in scale, Dalan? Like it wasn't as bombast or whatever it was?
It's not even that I didn't like it. It was an okay battle. I mean, I don't remember the fight all that well itself, but I know that I wasn't feeling emotional over it. I know that for a fact.
Maybe because you don't follow the lore, man. I mean, it's not your fault. Sometimes you don't want to follow the lore.
What did you call him, Tony Parker?
Is he a Spurs? I think he's a Spurs.
Even Nicole's out here. She's like, what?
Hey, that was he a Spurs? Luis, I think he was a Frenchman that played in the San Antonio Spurs. Was Tony Parker, I believe.
Oh, I don't know.
Possibly. Anyways,
well, Tony Parker was not in Spider-Man.
He's a basketball player. Yeah, I mean, I do like these postmortems, man. I don't know if they do them as much anymore. Like, we've had some nice postmortems recently, right? With Kojima, Ted Price, and who was the guy we were just talking about? The guy from Smash Brothers, or Smash Brothers, right? That he was like, you know what? They couldn't have done it without me. I mean, we'll see what happens next.
Like, I don't know.
So I do like all these little postmortems that happen, because sometimes I feel like the game industry is a little tight-lipped as far as like what goes on behind the scenes and their motivations as far as the story and the gameplay. So I'm enjoying this. I hope they kind of keep it going. But yeah, I like the fact that they were like, we're trying to avoid crunch. So how do we work it out? So there are ways to sort of avoid crunch, right? At least I think you've said it a few times before, right? Sometimes it comes down to management and, the scope or the expectations,
planning,
right? Yeah. So there's ways to do it and still make kind of a decent product at the end of the day. We'll move on to what you've been playing. I hear you've been playing a little bit more some story adventuring, Luis. Is that what you been doing?
Wait, yeah, I'm a little confused. Did you skip the Diablo?
We already.
You're not paying attention, Dylan. We're trying to match him up.
Okay, you moved it up. I forgot you moved it up.
Dylan, don't be like it's a rundown, Dylan. It's fluid around here. All right, the situation's fluid around here. Luis, what you been playing this past week?
Tell me why. Still continuing my playthrough. That's really the only story game I've been playing. I remember getting the first chapter for free, which I said that's why I checked it out in the first place. But apparently, I got the rest of them for free as well, the other 2 chapters. So I just kept it going.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Are
And
they
yeah,
continuing with that game, like, or that it's a what they call like a limited series?
I don't know.
Okay. You haven't
Yeah, I
beaten
don't
it though.
know.
You're still working through it.
I'm still in chapter 2.
Okay.
Yeah, and I reached a point where I thought I was getting to the end of chapter 2, but it's still going. So,
Okay.
yeah, maybe it was just the first one since it was free at one point. They made that one shorter than the rest. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But
And you
yeah,
said this
story's picking up.
one's
Yeah,
not as teenage angst as
not as much as
the
Life is
other ones.
Strange.
Okay.
No,
All right. I might want to mess with it at some point. Anything else, Lisa, before Dalen gets to his games?
no, yeah, just enjoying this playthrough.
Dalen, what you been up to, man? What you been playing?
Well, I had a chance to actually get into Mario RPG. I think maybe I'm like a third of the way through the game, or maybe halfway through the game. I'm not sure. Everybody's telling me it's a short game, but I finally actually just got Princess Peach back to her castle.
Spoilers.
Hey man, you'll eventually save her. She eventually gets on your team. I know that, and I haven't even gotten that far in the game yet.
It's a super old game, Dalen. I mean, come on,
It's a
spoiler
super
too.
old game. But man, I forgot how much that these games back in the old RPGs, how they like to add little mini games. I kind of hate the mini games.
Snowboard mini game, dude. They gotta give you a little snowboard mini game.
I kind of hate these Mario mini games, though. I mean, the snowboard mini game for Final Fantasy 7, for me, that was just memorable. That underwater, the freaking submarine game. Why did they have that? Mario RPG. They have this Yoshi race, and you gotta interchange the A and B button. I'm like, man, I cannot get Yoshi to move to save my life. I'm glad that I'm using an emulator, so it's on
Whoa,
save states.
okay, Dalen. Okay, you're copying that floppy.
floppy.
Copying that floppy yet again. Okay.
Mm. Hey man, save states are a lifesaver. That is the reason why they're called save states. But I still got to beat Mario RPG. But outside of the little mini games, the game is actually excellent and fun, and it still looks good even today. Smash
I still
Brothers-
gotta mess with it at some point, man, because I love the Paper Mario series, and it's gotten better. I feel over time, especially the dialogue. Is the dialogue really good in this one, or it's not? That
Oh no,
it's
the
all right.
dialogue is trash. It's just
Oh
the
damn.
gameplay.
Okay, so the gameplay's good. Dialogue, they got better at it. I'm assuming
Yes.
over time. Okay. What else, Dalen? What you been playing?
Then after that, I was playing some Smash Brothers this past weekend because I had a couple of friends over. I think I mentioned that earlier in the podcast. But Kazuya is in this game, and I had not tried him yet, and he is way too OP for this game. He
You
is
already
just
blew
out
your load
there.
on this one, Dalen?
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying, one punch and you are flying off the screen. Just a punch. It's just weird. But the reason I even
It's called
tried
Smash
to
Brothers.
yeah,
And don't
part
get
of
your
the reason-
percentage too high. Dan, if you get your percentage above like 100%, you're gonna get punched out, dude. Like, you gotta be careful at that point.
Kazuya.
That's how
will
Smash
sock
Brothers
you
works.
At like 38%, and people were flying off the screen.
Yeah, but that's like lack of skill, man. You feel me?
Possibly. I mean, I'm not trying to get socked by Kazuya anyway, or that Falcon Punch. All these are nasty.
Falcon Punch.
but-
Falcon Punch. That's the one I get down with.
We recently talked about Sora being added to the game, and he's actually a very balanced character. And it
Oh,
was
okay, you
actually
tried it
very
out.
surprising. I really enjoyed playing with Sora in that game, and I might actually play with him as another regular character. Kazuya, I'll just be him if I'm trying to piss people off. But
Now,
Sora-
Kazuya, you know I don't care about the lore that much, Dalen. Where's Kazuya
Kazuya
from?
Mishima from Tekken.
Oh, okay, I mean a dial combo, Dalen. I don't know anybody from
You
dial
don't dial
combos.
a combo here. It's fine, Carlos. You
Definitely can spam the C stick though, as I do when I play Smash Brothers.
Hey, all we know is that you're probably not gonna get a Virtual Fighter 6. That's what.
Oh damn! Stop logging into VA. Stop logging into Virtua Fighter 5 till we can get sick. You know the problem is probably not
man.
enough people logged into Virtua Fighter 5 to get a 6. That's the problem on that one.
Man, just Virtual Fighter 5's like online. What was it? The lobbies. The lobbies were terrible.
No, the lobby
lobbies-
system and the matchmaking is trash, but the actual the online part of it held up, right? For the most part, it was not too
All right,
bad.
let's move on to your game though.
Help me out here, Dale. Did it not hold up when we actually got a match?
let's move on to your game.
It's a yes or no. We don't gotta like delve into it. You're making it longer than it needs to.
All right, fine. The actual fighting was not too bad, but I still prefer my Tekken and maybe even some Soul Calibur.
Dialacombo.com. Yeah, no, I solved the game tape of Super Metroid. I did use a little bit of guides. That game, I feel like that's the one that it does need a remake, man. It definitely needs a remake. The controls are a little funky. You can't grab ledges, and I'm like, damn, you can never grab ledges. You can't even upgrade to grabbing ledges. So I feel like Super Metroid could definitely use a remake, but a lot of the game is still like, it's pretty damn good, dude. It's pretty damn good. I don't know where I'm going half the time. So I feel like if they ever remake it, they definitely got to work on the controls and a little bit better signposting. It's like, okay, go here, go there. Some of it is kind of graphic though, even like the new ones that they made. Like skin is coming off their pixelated bones, dude, half the time. And sometimes you're just straight up fighting big brains that attached and just became a parasite on. I call it a parasite, like the Metroid will start sucking up random bosses' heads. And it's like, okay, that's reasonable. I can imagine in 1994 a child was playing this game and they were like, what the hell am I seeing, Mom? I'm seeing the inside of a skull right now. So it's a little graphic, but I like it. So I would definitely like to see a remake. And some of the end battles is kind of like, it takes like little interesting turns. And I do like how the endings are really ultimately based on how much of a collectibles you get. I think I got to the end with like 89%. But I looked up like what the quote unquote best ending is. And I'm like, oh, that's right. It's the 90s. So the best ending, I don't know if you guys can guess, Dalan, but the best ending is Samus is at the very end with her full body suit, right? And all of a sudden the screen blinks and she's in a bikini. That is the best ending, that you can fully see her without her gear. I'm like, damn, this is definitely the 90s, right? The 90s.
That was the one where they found out she was female, right? Or something like that.
No, I mean, you knew it since the first one. Since the original one, you kind of knew. Yeah, since the original, you kind of knew. That was like the surprise.
That was a huge surprise.
Yeah, it was like a big surprise original. It was like, what? She's a girl. But so you kind of know it in subsequent games. But I think with 89%, she takes her helmet off. But at 100%, the quote-unquote best ending, nothing changes about the actual ending of the game except the fact that she drops the armor and is in a bikini at the end. I'm like, yeah, it's the 90s. It's the 90s, so I'm sure they'll have to switch that up again. But I feel like I feel like we could
that
use...
was sexist enough then. Now,
but I do definitely feel like we definitely could use a remake of Super Metroid. I'm sure that's it's in the works, man. Because definitely bring all these games into the modern era. I feel like, because they have a nice little template, especially with Samus Returns, the 3DS one that came out in 2017. So immediately after beating this thing, I move right into Metroid Fusion right away. It's super smooth. It's real chatty. I understand. I think when it came out, people were like, why do they talk so much? But I'm like, the first thing I try to find out if I could do, grab a ledge. And guess what? I was able to grab a ledge. And I was like, yes. Thank you for allowing me to grab a ledge. Other than that, yeah, it's just a real chatty type of game, but I'm actually having a lot of fun with it. I'm having a lot of fun with it. The graphics are nice. They're nice and pixelated and animates well. So it'll be interesting to kind of go into Dread after it, but I'm having fun so far, man. Kind of going through the whole the 2D Metroid stuff. I did for a little bit play Donkey Kong Country with my daughter Lily. That game is... it's kind of trash, man. It's kind of... can we be honest here?
Hey, that's just classic by itself.
Come on, man. It's kind of trash, dude. Like, I don't know what to say. I mean, I understand Rare was like, look at these cool roto graphics or whatever hell they wanted to call them at the time, right? But it's a little trash.
It was very unique to me, all right?
I bet, and your nostalgia hits different and all that, but... let's just be honest here, man. That's a trash game, dude. It was
not.
It was terrible. I mean, I'm sorry to break this.
You can defy gravity by rolling off of a ledge, but other than that, it was great.
We tried it for like one level, and she was like, "Dad, I gotta walk away from this." So like, I do not blame you. I do not blame you for this. So the zinger this week, Dalan, this was for you because you love the VR world, but apparently the Meta Quest or MetaQuest 2 is they're updating this thing to have a space sense, which enables you to see when objects or people intrude on your Guardian bounds. And if people don't know, the Guardian is kind of what you set up within the VR space where, tell me if I'm out of bounds, right? Type of thing. And they say other people, large pets, a chair that's been dragged out of its usual spot. These objects and more should now be highlighted in your headset surrounded by a pinkish glow. So I do like the picture. If you guys can look online, is they show that it allows you to not punch children. This is according to Kotaku. So you see like the Oculus is kind of looking onto a little child. So don't smack the little child, please.
It allows you to not punch children on accident.
Pretty much. Is this an update we need, Dalan? Is this an update we need?
So you can accurately hit children? Probably.
Wow. So you would take this and it's like, there's a child there. Now I know where to punch it. That's how you would take it, Dalan?
Move, map.
Wow. Oh, you said map, huh? Okay,
Okay.
that would be if you did a comic strip, then when somebody gets punched, the words would come up and say map. It's what you're saying.
Flack, but in my terms,
Luis, I mean, I know you're gonna be reasonable, right? You will avoid the obstacles and the children's, right?
Yeah, that's just intended use. I mean, if you want to punch a child, take the head
that,
off.
he was like, maybe.
You won't.
No, I mean, if I want to punch a child accurately, I won't put on a VR headset. So.
This is a nice little update. I will say, I'm asking for commitments from you guys. I think it was erased on here. Oh no, it's on here. Wait, is it? No, it was definitely erased on here. But Dalan, are we hitting up Forza this week?
Yes.
Also,
that up in the next few days.
you know what though? You know what I just remembered, Dalan?
I don't.
That San Andreas is up right now, dude.
I don't care about that.
Wait, no. Oh, it's the 11th, right? Is it the 11th?
The 11th or 13th.
Okay, Dalan, I will play Destiny with you again if you will have me.
Are you okay, Carlos?
If you will have me. Anyways, this week, Forza, we're going to get down with a little bit of Forza, right, Dalan, this week? And
Yes.
San Andreas on Game Pass, dude. I'm kind of hyped for that. So
You're
that's
gonna
in a
get
couple
bored of
days.
Forza. Oh, actually, you won't get bored of Forza as much as you liked. What was it, Burnout Paradise? I'm pretty sure you won't get bored of Forza.
What was the song in Burnout Paradise? Do you remember?
Nah, I
Paradise
didn't play
City.
Burnout Paradise. I just know you played
When I
it.
take it down to Paradise City, or some, I don't know. It was wacky.
GNR.
It was the Guns N' Roses song.
There you go. Well, I thought you didn't know it, Dalan.
GNF and Army.
Anyways, that's been a podcast. We're gonna start getting wacky around here. I'm your host, Carlos Macias. As per usual, make sure to check out wegotcoms.com. Like, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and we'll see you guys next time. This has been Salient Points 45 for November 9th, 2021. Dalan, as per 85% of the time, thank you for coming on the podcast this week.
Hey man, I don't like you and your kamikaze pilots and talking about high fantasy like it's a terrible thing. All right, go somewhere.
High, low, mid fantasy, it's all terrible. All right, Dalan Kirkwood, thank you for joining us. And as per usual, on the Wheels of Steel, Luis Mendez, thank you for joining us, sir.
Let me go away real quick.
We're gonna watch a game. Hey, we're gonna watch a game later today, Luis. Clips. Who is it? Clips who? Dame
Blazer.
Dollar. We're gonna see Dame Dollar. All right, see you guys next week. Latest.